Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time you're watching this. Good evening if you're watching us live. I'm saying us, but as you can plainly see, I'm on my own. I'll get to that in just a moment. Marion's here bright and early. Good evening, Marion. I was just quickly looking at your photos on Facebook. All your little poochies. Very cute. Miss the little papillon cuddles. Right, okay. It's just me. Unfortunately, Penny had a little, I say little, an invasive operation today on her neck. So I'm sure Penny will be there somewhere in a moment in the comments. So Penny is chilling out on the sofa. So you've only got me. It's just me. So what we are going to have to do is accept the little rabbit holes, the little rants that will follow, because I haven't got Penny here to curb me and keep me on the straight and narrow. So maybe this video will be the one that goes viral because I say something I shouldn't. Don't know. We have, as always, got the topic randomizer for later. Let's see what random topics that throws up for us to talk about. Oh, there we go. Penny tried to send an emoji that didn't work, hand pink waving. So I'm guessing that's Penny saying, Penny's there. So it's just me. Right. I am right in thinking this week is Mental Health Week. And I want to start with that a little bit, if I can, from a pagan and spiritual point of view. Because being Mental Health Week, I've been trying to reach out to other pagans. Some of a Norse background, some of just a heathen background, on different social media formats. Not so much Facebook, because as anybody knows me, I'm not really on Facebook. There's an account that I check every now and again and post the odd random thing, but that's it. But as soon as you start interacting with people that are on live chats and forums, you just get blocked. Unless you go in saying things like, oh, you look really good, your war paint looks amazing, all that stuff behind. Unless you go in and absolutely brown nose the hell out of these people, you don't get anything back. And it's become a bit vapid is the word I'm sort of looking for. So this is a kind of a request. If you're a fellow pagan spiritualist, then let's get together without all the sending freaking random sunglasses and hats and get past all of that to just the circle side of things, the sharing of knowledge, that doesn't automatically have this kind of caveat that if you don't sing off the same hymn sheet, you just get blocked. But maybe that's what it's like. Maybe that's it now. We've got all these little subsections of paganism and pagan beliefs that some revolve around having to have certain items and articles hanging around or in the background. I mean, I know there is stuff here, but this is stuff we've accumulated over time, not that I've bought or we've bought just purely to set a scene, if you get my logic. So I kind of want to know your thoughts on it. How are you getting on with social media side of things, the pagans out there, the tarot readers out there? How do you think, is it watering down the spirituality? Because I think it is. I think it's making it really, really unpersonal. And all this kind of virtue signaling thing that it's becoming. And that concerns me, because as a person that's been on a hell of a journey through religions and studying religion and being baptized to then being a Jedi. I was a Jedi for a bit, just as a Facebook thing, because it was a legitimate thing, to then sort of classing myself as a pagan. That's taken 45 years. And we've got these people that have been on TikTok 10 minutes that understand paganism and know more about it. I get that the information is there, but knowledge and information are two separate things. An application of knowledge and understanding comes with time and experience. So what I'm trying to say is, if Some of these people need a decent fucking role model is what they need. Stop monetizing it as a, what's the word? Influencer side of things. But anyway, right, let's move on from that. So that's tied into the mental health because I don't personally speak to that many people. I speak to Penny every day, obviously, and our boy and the kids infrequently, but I'm not a massively, what's the word? I'm not part of a massive community of people that are like-minded. It sounds like I'm pitching for a cult now. I just heard it in my own head. A group of like-minded people would like together and plan the demise of the planet. Let's do that. So I suppose what I'm getting at is under the mental health bit this week has highlighted to me just how disconnected I am to old friends, new friends, family. And yeah, that's what I've figured out in my mental health week. On a little side note, when it comes to men's mental health, on my other YouTube channel, it's just called Alistair, I've got, I think there's about 6 hours of stuff to do with mental health and things from my perspective, how I coped with stuff. It's all on there for everybody to see. Right. I'm going to bring in the topic randomizer shortly. But first, I want to ask you guys a favour. If you're watching and you like the video, please click the little like. It's like a little thumbs up thing. And the reason I ask this is because last week, 22 people watched it, but only 3 people liked it. And my brain starts to think, okay, so like 19 people didn't like it. But that can't be right, surely. And the ones before that. So there's views, but they're not represented by likes. So I'm on the cadge. God, it's warm in here. We need to get a fan in here for the summer. Right. Let's get on to some spirituality and stuff. If you've got anything you want us to talk about, I am a Reiki master, a tarot reader of Alistair Crowley cards, a pagan. I used to say Norse pagan, but I feel like it comes with a caveat of something now. There's an expectation from me. Right. While you guys think of something to recommend, let's bring in the randomizer. Oh, how do I do this? Actually, I've got to do this from this screen. Oh, no. How do I do it? Oh, this is not good. Okay, I'm going to try that again. Bear with me one moment. I can't see you guys now at all. The 1 week Penny's not here and it all goes to pot. It's because I zoomed it in. That's what it was. I tried to zoom it in and that didn't work. Right, let me add this back. Right. There we go. Spinning away. Can you only like the video after it's finished? As there's no like option here. Very good question. I don't believe so. Normally there's like a little thumbs up thing, but I'm not 100% certain. It depends what format you're watching it in, I suppose. Don't know. Anyway, let's best stop this. Animals. See, now technically I did speak about this. I think I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago. We did animals. Let's do it from a different perspective, because last time I spoke about this as like guide animals, and people want to connect with an animal guide for a number of particular reasons. My spirit animal guide is a stoat, which at the time when that kind of came to me, I thought I was underwhelmed. I've got to be honest at the time, but I soon come to realise it's a great little ally. He's in and about everything, gets ahead of me. So, and there's a good, easy scout around, and they're cautious. They're not the most trusting of animals. On top of that, I try and connect with a wolf and a bear, but these are not so much animals as a physical or even a trying to manifest those as physical things. they're characteristics that represent things that I want in myself. So I've chosen certain characteristics of the wolf that I want to connect to. So when I meditate, I use that as my focus, as to if I'm pre-planning a situation, I need to have that logic as the wolf. And then there's other situations where I call on attributes of the bear. And these are things that I want to portray in whatever it is I'm doing the situation. I don't want to be too open with this because they're sort of personal attributes. So that's the animal side of things. But what about the other side of it? So if we look at the fact that I'm Piscean, so then there's two fish swimming in opposite directions, and then you get into the realms of your astrology then in certain characteristics you have because you're a Piscean, which I've always kind of taken with a pinch of salt. It was one of them things as a kid growing up, it was always either on the morning TV program with Russell Grant, who I think was a bit ropey, or it was in the sort of daily magazines, or if you bought any kind of kids magazine, there was some variation of something in there, your horoscope and the characteristics of that. Or we could go to the Chinese side of things, where myself personally, I come under Year of the Horse. So there's certain characteristic traits that come with that and the way they describe it from the years that you were born. And I kind of, if you're inclined to believe it, then there's no bad attributes in there. It might say things like might be a bit stubborn, but most people can say they're sort of stubborn to a certain extent. So all of those kind of horoscopy things did often felt a little bit of a cold reading. I've never fully understood. Well, I don't fully understand astronomy, so I don't understand how people get to this logic of because that planet's there and that planet's there, that it creates this energy. I understand the sun and the moon. I get theirs, but I don't understand where all the other planets and stars come into it to create the astronomy sort of logic. So that's an area of something I don't really know about. Oh, hang on, I'm losing track of the. Well, I'm saying losing track of the comments, but I'm losing track of my one viewer and Penny. So hang on. Oh, Penny's year of the ox. The ox is under the sign of equilibrium and sense. Okay. I don't know the characteristics of an ox. So that's animal side of things. Is there any other animals? What else can we go with? What about symbolism animals? As for instance, ravens symbolizing Odin, or goats symbolizing Baphomet and the devil. Certain animals have got the Easter bunny being represented by a rabbit. There's a lot of animal. We use a lot of animals for different attributes in different things. And depending on where you're coming at it from will depend on what you're looking at the animals in the context of what you want to learn from that animal. If you're like sort of thinking of the grander scheme of everything, the circle of life. Oh, there we go. So Leah is Year of the Rabbit. Spirit animal is rabbit too. I don't know what the attributes are of a rabbit. Keep hold of your feet, because if somebody else has got them, they're lucky for them. I don't know. Right, that's enough on animals, I reckon. Let's jump back to the randomizer. Let's set it spinning again. I can't see the screen actually now. I don't know how bad this looks, but I feel like I have to do something with this. We need like a stroker to. No, I don't. Ghost hunting. Now we did that one the other day. That one's come up before. Right. Guides, we've done that. We really need to change some of these up. Astronomy, we just covered that slightly. Devils and Satan, we've done. Come on, give me a juicy one. I'm just picking now. Skulls and bones. I'm going to go with this one. From, I felt like it was a spider on the back of my neck then. Let me see out in the camera. That like something tickled my neck then. That's creeped me out a little bit. Right. Anyway, what was it? Oh, I forgot what it was. Bones and skulls. Okay. Bones and skulls. If you haven't seen the video we did, we went to a crypt. Rothwell, I believe it is. Rothwell Crypt. It's inside the church. You can turn up. I think it's free. Well, you make a donation. I can't remember. It weren't expensive. I know that. And you can go and stand and look around. Piles and piles of bones and hundreds of skulls. And I'm of a couple of opinions with these because I don't inherently think that a skull or any part of the skeletal system will hold any energy after you die unless you want it to. And the reason I say that is because I consider this as like a gooey vessel for the energy that's within. Based on my favorite question, which is, where are you in your body? So this kind of gooey thing in houses the kind of spirit or entity of whatever is me. So when that goes, everything that's left behind is kind of waste. It's just left behind. The idea is that decays back and goes back into the earth and circle of life. Yeah. So Penny's saying about she uses bones, throws bones for divination. I'm not going to try osteomancy. Oh, as an osteopath. Huh? I just learned something, connected something there. Yeah, so bones being used for divination. Also, again, symbolism. People use skulls and bones. There is certain spells and I want to say curses, but that's kind of semantically not what I'm looking for. But there is things that use bones with other materials for spells. But yeah, I don't personally believe that somebody's skull will have the energy of them. And the only reason I say that is because I've never held one or touched a skull or been near one and then thought, holy crap, there's somebody inside it, or felt any energy from it. So roll on the day that I do, that'd be amazing. They pop out the ground like Sinbad, that'd be hilarious. So as far as that's concerned, I don't, but it does relate to the more macabre side of things. Sorry, I had rather a lot for dinner. Yeah, so the more macabre side of things, so bones from the symbolism side of things, the skull and crossbones, it's a sort of, well, apparently that was a pirate, but other people say it wasn't. So the symbolism of that side of things, with bones, skulls, and other things like that. I mean, I used to have it was a raven skull as a rose quartz crystal, but it's no more. And to be fair, I only lightly dropped it on this desk and it kind of exploded. So not the toughest of crystals, that one. I obviously killed it. So yeah, so there's a lot of symbolism with skulls and death and bones. But there's also, I mean, years ago, back in the old days, people used to grind them down and take them as a powder. So there's all kinds of weird and wonderful things bones have been used for in the past, but that's a rabbit hole you can go down yourself. Right, let's bring it back in. I want to get something good, something I can rabbit on about for a little bit. I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to stay here for the full hour. It's quite difficult sitting on your own, talking to yourself. Oh, what happened? I did it again. It really likes some of these near-death experiences. There we go. I'm glad that worked in the end. So, near-death experiences. There is a belief that people who have died and come back, or have been pronounced dead and then resuscitated, or have purposely put themselves under and then come back, there is, if you look into this, a lot of similarity in what is said. hang on, let me just double check. It was near-death experience. I nearly went off on a tangent then of life after death. So a lot of the accounts from people who have had near-death experiences, seeing themselves in the hospital room, floating above themselves, seeing relatives, certain colours that they describe, feelings that they have, a sense of being outside of yourself. Remember I said earlier about where are you in your body? If you're not in your body, where are you? So it's that sense of things. God, joys of having a beard. It's molten. Oh, bear with me 2 seconds. Penny's just dropped a little comment in about the animal bones. So animal remains such as bones, feathers, fangs, and even shells are used in the oldest times throughout many cultures, traditional. Yeah. So near death. So there is actually a lot of similarity in the stories that people say that's happened and what they've experienced in those moments where they were clinically dead. Now, let's look into that a little bit. It's going to take a good, they say 3 minutes for your brain to be dead, but I would argue that it would linger to about 4 or 5. Not competently, but we're talking about something it's starved of oxygen, it's shutting down, and the brain will be the last thing that shuts down. So in theory, in the same way as every time the Enterprise drops, they pull all the power to one place. I don't know how they manage that technology. That's amazing in itself. So I kind of think the body does the same thing. It works out, oh crap, we're really in trouble now, and it holds on to the brain for the longest. Now, is what everybody's experiencing some sort of oxygen starvation, euphoric, carbon dioxide induced hallucination, a vision? Who knows? We're never going to really know until we go and then somebody is able to go and then come back and prove it somehow. Because we think of it as another place. And this is another bit where perhaps I'm not on the same wavelength as everybody. When we die, we go to somewhere else. And even then, you see, this ascending sort of logic that we go somewhere else. Why? We're all part of this globe, this earth. I came from this earth. I'm going to go back into this earth. So I don't know whether or not in death there is this existential something afterwards. I don't know. Or it is just a case of 3 minutes and you're back as something else. Your energy just gets recycled and off you go. Or that is it. But when you get so many accounts of people that have had near-death experiences and it's changed them in some way and their outlook on things, you can't help but think maybe there is something to this. But if there is, then we're firmly in the realms of why tribes and primitive man used hallucinogenics in ceremonies. Is that the spiritual connection? Is that why we're not allowed to do it? Did we used to be a very spiritual beast and we disconnected from that spirituality, and this is the mortal world that we created? I don't know. God, that got deep. Right, let's do one more and then I'm going to wrap this evening up. I hope nobody minds. It'll be a short one this evening. Unless anybody's got a particular topic that you want me to talk about, you can ask me anything. Penny's not here. Just ask me anything. You get an honest answer. Modern spiritualism. Oh, don't know if I want to finish with that one or not. What we got? 2 seconds. Got some Penny on the sofa is joining in. Best movie from 1946 called A Matter of Life or Death or Stairway to Heaven starring David Neeson. British wartime aviator who cheat death must argue for life before. Interesting spin on it. or, and we've said all of these things, or all of them are possible. Every potential multi-universe, parallel universe, maybe we just flick from one to the next. Do you know what I mean? And this is my favorite thing about topics like this, is I don't want there to actually be an answer. And I get that contradicts a lot of my thought processes as a man. I like to kind of solve problems. I like to figure things out. I like to know how things work or why they do what they do. I look for patterns. So in humans, we've got so many diverse options available to us that I think, well, actually, if I think all of them are a potential possibility, then it'll just be a massive roulette wheel and I'll just get whichever one it is. But if I'm of the opinion, nah, I don't believe any of that, and shut myself off to it, then there won't be an option. So I'm kind of thinking to myself that I have that little bit of control of what will happen afterwards, when in fact I probably don't. If you get my logic. So, modern spiritualism. Modern spiritualism is monetized. And it's the biggest thing. I can't deal with it. I tried 25 years ago to do paid tarot as a business, as a service. You pay me for a service. And I couldn't get my head around it. Me and Penny valiantly tried, and we got it kind of there, but COVID and general personal stuff going on, we couldn't devote the time to do it. And it does all revolve around money at the moment. What you wear, what you promote, what group you're sort of, what tarot card you're reading, what angel card you're reading. Everybody is aiming their paganism at somebody else for something. And I've always been firmly of the opinion that if I'm meant to read for somebody, then that's what will happen. That they're meant to. Any friend I've ever had, anybody that ever came to me for dog training or life coaching, or I don't know what the other one are, or Reiki or tarot, there's a reason that we've made that connection. It wasn't somebody else. There's a number of different variables that have had to happen for that connection to be made. So I've always been of that opinion that if it's meant to be, it will be. Whereas when you're trying to run it as a business, you've got to advertise. And advertising nowadays is about being in front of the camera the whole time, telling people what you do and reading cards and just making stuff up just so that 1,000 people will follow your TikToks that you can then go live and then be perhaps genuine. But there's so much crap to get to that side of things that modern spiritualism now is just not accessible through things like that. The comments move too quick. People send so much stuff in. By the time that person's read your comment, it's gone. And they've moved on to the next one, or they've been distracted by the person that sent them sunglasses or whatever kind of coins it is that it's happening on. The alternatives, things like Patreon, there's a monetary side of things, which I've tried, we've got it set up there and it's available. And I'd love to start a circle through that system. But it means monetizing me. Now, everything as far as the dog training, the human psychology, the life coaching, I paid for those courses. So I bought that knowledge and then I've exchanged that to you for money. And that makes sense to me because those are things I've had to learn and engage with and pay for. But psychometry and tarot, I can just do. And I've always just been able to do it. I don't know. So it didn't cost me anything, and it doesn't kind of cost me anything to do it. I am the material. My cards, I've had the same cards for 20 odd years. So I get the kind of running costs of things, but, and it's like Penny's just put there, monetizing belief. And that's I find that really difficult. because of the nature of what it is as well. If I'm sat with somebody and we're doing a life coaching through tarot, then that's a different thing, because it crosses over into the life coaching side of things. So I'm using my form of divination and all the stuff I've learned through psychology and sociology and the counseling stuff, that I can apply it all together. Then it makes sense as a monetized thing. But that's not what people want. The modern spiritualist, it's just 3 cards. I just chuck 3 cards out and read what's on the card, and people are happy, but they're not happy. They're entertained. And they're entertained in the same way that they were entertained watching John Edwards or Most Haunted. It's entertainment. Most people are not taking it 100% seriously, and they can't because of the format that it's in. So that's where I kind of, it's become a bit, gosh, it can be really hard. I can never do my hair. I can't. Yeah. It's backwards on the screen. Sorry, guys. I just had a little mini meltdown to myself there. So that's my personal stuff, side of modern spiritualism. But now, with everybody else, it is about being, you've just got to perform like a performing social media monkey. If you've not got candles and smoke burning and things in the background that draw people. I mean, even we've done it this side, putting these lights in for the last setup, because it's social media stuff. We're on YouTube, so there's a certain set of rules that kind of have to apply, and it's really hard. I've got to be honest, it's really difficult. I'd like to go back to where you'd have a medium at a car boot sale, and you'd go to a car boot sale on a Sunday or a Saturday. You'd go to stalls or the market, but there's none of those social things happening now. Everything is happening online, and it's so impersonal that I'm struggling to engage with it from a spiritualist point of view. So that's what it is. But underneath it all, to survive in this world, the way it's set up at the moment and the way that my life is, we need money. So that all said, you need to like, share and subscribe, please. We actually gained a couple of extra subscribers this week, which was nice. So thank you very much for that. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to say goodbye, go downstairs and have a coffee with Penny, make sure she's okay. Of course I will. Why would I not look after you? I need to make you better so you can cook and stuff. That's the way it works. So thank you ever so much, everybody, who joined me. Sorry it was slightly different to when me and Penny are here. This is just me. There's little tangents, little rants. Just be grateful I didn't talk about anything woke. Let's just be grateful we didn't mention anything like that. So thank you very much for joining. I hope you enjoyed it, and join us next week. We'll be here. Both of us will be here next week. Hopefully not in the studio. I've had a look at the weather reports. It should be nice, so I'm hoping we can go out and do something out on location. So actually, if you want to come and join us, drop us a message, and we'll let you know where we're going to be, and you come over and join us. You don't have to be in the live. You just might want to see behind the scenes and, I don't know, see what we do. Have a chat. Have a bit of mediumship time. A bit of pagan bonding. I don't know. But if you want to come and join us, and if you've liked it, please share it. If you've not liked it, leave a comment. Let me know why. I'm all for some constructive criticism. It's fine. Where's my outro? Right. Thank you very much, guys. And we will see you next week.